Hi everybody, and welcome to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. For today's first video, I got some really cool posts from the subreddits Am I the A-hole, Relationships Advice, and Today I Effed Up. So if you want to get started with the stories, then just use the timestamps below the video. Now I'd like to thank all of you that support me as either YouTube members, Twitch subscribers, or donating during my live streams. I really appreciate your support, thank you so much. And if this is the first time watching one of my videos and you like it, then consider subscribing to the channel and joining us on Discord. Now let's get started with today's stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's from user ReadyCod6719. Am I the a-hole for not helping my ex after he left our business? I, female 29, met my ex B, male 29, in college and started a business right after our senior year. Our relationship often got toxic, but I think being business partners kept us together. Eventually, our business started having financial troubles. B comes from wealth, so I asked him to get a loan from his parents, which he agreed to. 2 months later, B suddenly asked for all the money back. We were always planning to pay it, but we had mutually decided on manageable installments, and I was not in a position to return all of it at the same time. B said his father was very sick, and since he was in retirement, his health insurance situation was tricky. This seemed particularly odd to me because 1. B did not give me any details on the sickness, 2. He didn't let me call his mother because she was grieving and couldn't talk about finances, 3. Mom had more than enough money to pay for his treatment. Every time I tried to investigate, he asked me to trust him, and that's what I did. Getting the money back was an ordeal. We had already invested all of it in the business, and I had to take some out and even give away all my personal savings. About 3 weeks after this, B called me to tell me that we are done. He also wanted out from the business, and the only other time I saw him was with lawyers when we were dividing our business assets and he was withdrawing his name from all the official documents. I was devastated. In addition to all the emotional trauma, I had virtually no finances to fall back on and moved back in with my mother for a bit. I never heard from B, and after talking to some of our mutual friends who were on my side, I found out that B's father was not actually sick. I wasn't surprised. 5 years later, I never gave up on my business. And slowly it grew and helped me pay all my debts and live a comfortable life. I heard from some friends that both of B's parents passed away, but I didn't pay it much heed. In the midst of lockdown, I got an email from B. I knew this was not going to be good, but I responded, guided by my curiosity, to know what he did with all that money. His parents had cut him out of their will, and he had a child with a woman who abandoned them. He also got laid off because of COVID, and he told me he was struggling to feed his son. He told me that since he was instrumental to the business foundation, he deserved a cut from it now that it was successful. When I asked him about the money, he said his parents were pressuring him, which I do not believe. They were always on board with his frivolous purchases and knew me well enough to tell me if they wanted it back. I consulted my lawyer, who said B had no legal claims to the business, but when I told my best friend about it, she said that she was appalled by the fact that I didn't give it a second thought, especially because he was responsible for the business idea and his initial investment was twice as much as mine. She thinks I'm an a-hole, so I'm here to find out. OP, in my opinion, I don't think you are the a-hole if you decide to not give him a piece of your business, because even though it might have been his idea and his initial money that started to, in the beginning, when he left you, you had debt and you had to build it all back up from scratch. That business is today successful because of you, not because of him. Your business actually could have failed thanks to him withdrawing all that money from it, and he put you in debt, which is absolutely not a cool thing to do. Now, you guys know I'm always pro helping kids. So where I could see OP being a little bit of an a-hole is if she lets this ill will or bad history that they have between her and B get in the way or make a kid go hungry. And yes, I know OP, it is not your kid, so it's not your responsibility. So the way I would go about this is, first of all, you don't give him a piece of your business or anything like that because he doesn't deserve it and he's got no claim to it. What you could do is buy him groceries. You can say, you know what, I'll buy you groceries for a year so you can feed your kid and you need to find the job in the meantime. And that's it. You don't owe him anything, and of course you don't need to do this. But if that kid is truly going hungry and you are in a position to help them financially this way, then why not do it? So that would be my approach, and again, my judgment is not the a-hole. So what do you guys think? What is your judgment? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on with the community comments to see what they had to say. Honest Elk 1703 says, that's a clear not the a-hole. Congratulations to you for persevering with the idea long enough to make it a success. And Dazzling Highway 9987 adds, exactly, very clear not the a-hole. No idea why any friend would suggest otherwise, actually. And OP responds, I met her through him. She says she has always liked me more and hasn't spoken to him since the debacle, but I don't know how true that is anymore. I mainly consulted her because she knew the entire story thoroughly, but now it seems like she has a massive conflict of interest. Revolutionary Ad 1846 said, he lied about his father being sick. He is probably lying about the child. Do not let your friend guilt trip you. And OP responds, the guilt trip is spot on. My friend told me that since I struggled financially at some point, I should have empathy because he is in the same situation now. Chutsun909 says, your friend sucks. You're not the a-hole. You don't owe your ex at all. You did the work, so you get to reap the rewards. And OP responds, she usually tries to play the devil's advocate, but I think this time she took it too far. Well, the community is aligned in that OP is not the a-hole and that she owes nothing to B, and I absolutely agree. What that second commenter brought up, that he lied about his parents being sick, so maybe he's lying about the kid, well, that's something I would try to find out, make sure it is true. And if it is true, then I'd do that thing of buying him groceries and he needs to find a job or, something like that. In any case, OP has given us an update, so let's go check it out and see what she ended up doing. It's been some time since I posted this, but I wanted to thank all of you for steering me in a clear direction. The volume of responses was overwhelming, and I am sorry for not getting back to all of you. Now for the update. My ex does really have a son, and I was able to verify this. I also found out that he wasn't cut out of his parents' will. The money simply just wasn't as much as he was expecting. Even though he did lose his job, he had a lot of fallback money. I also forgot an important detail in my first post. I recently did an interview in a local newspaper about my business, and my ex may have read that and found out that my business was doing well. Since he didn't need that money, my only explanation for why he reached out to me is that he felt entitled to my success and the money I made. Now, about my friend. She admitted that he reached out to her before he emailed me. But later, after some coaxing, she told me that they had been speaking casually for some years. I'm not the most confrontational person, so I cut her out of my life. And yesterday, I found out through Facebook that they're engaged. Well, one last thank you. I am admittedly a gullible person, and you all helped me not get played. Welp, I did not see that one coming at all. That dude sucks. The friend sucks, so good riddance to the both of them. Good for you, OP, for doing the background check to make sure none of this was a lie. You did the due diligence and avoided getting scammed, but it's also a good thing that you got the lawyer. So in this case, my solution of offering to buy groceries absolutely does not apply. However, I still stand by it in the case that the kid was truly going hungry. But I absolutely did not see coming that the friend was in on it because they're now engaged, so she was definitely also trying to play OP. Man, some people just really suck. Anyways, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice, and it's from user throwaway112921. My parents don't want to go to my wedding, and I feel it's all my fault. To provide a little context before jumping into the situation, I am not very close to my parents. I suffered a lot of emotional abuse from them that caused me to withdraw from them at an early age. It's complicated. I still care for them, but I keep my distance with them emotionally. So my fiance and I were planning for who we would want to invite for our wedding. We wanted a small wedding, and because of COVID, I went ahead and just put all of my family members that lived in my hometown. We settled on the date and booked the venue. Since I'm not close to my parents, it never occurred to me that I should have contacted them on who to invite on the guest list. My fault entirely. So you can imagine how upset my mom was when I dropped that bombshell on her. My mother's huge about family, so her ideal wedding for her children was to have all of my parents' siblings and their children to the wedding. I didn't know about this till after the fact, since we hardly talk, and we especially never talk about personal preferences or dreams to each other. Though my side of the family is huge, definitely over 50 plus people if they include children, plus I hardly know half of them. My mom tried to persuade me to move the date and invite all of our extended family members, but I put my foot down. I told her my fiance and I wanted a small wedding, keeping it below 50 combined. Though we're willing to compromise with her. I thought a great solution was to have a small ceremony and a separate banquet on a different day for all of my extended family members. She didn't like the idea. She had me take out all of the extended family members that were on my list and invite immediate family, and to forget about putting together a banquet. I tried talking to her a couple more times about the compromise. I can't put together the banquet myself because I'm not fluent in my parents' language. My mother was adamant that it had to be the wedding that everyone's invited to. She tried once more to persuade me, mostly guilt me or insult me or my wedding, to move the date. Once she realized I wasn't going to budge on the date, she told me that my father and her won't be attending the wedding. I asked her if I had consulted her before deciding the date, would she have accepted my decision of wanting a small ceremony, since the main issue seemed to be who was going to be on the guest list. She said of course, so now I feel like it was my fault that all of this has happened. Am I the selfish one? Should I try a couple more times to try to convince my parents to come to my wedding? Oh, OP, no, you're not being the selfish one. Your mom is, definitely. She's trying to guilt and manipulate you into having the wedding that she wants. This is your fiance's and your wedding, and you both should get the wedding that you want. If you want a small wedding with less than 40 people, then that's what you should do. Stand up for what you want. And if your mom is threatening to not go to your wedding because you're not doing what she wants, well then say, well, it would have been nice to have you, but since you don't want to be a part of it, have a nice day. I know this must be tough and you might feel like you need to please them. That could come from the emotional abuse that you suffered as a kid. Stand your ground and don't give in to her ridiculous demands. This is not her wedding. And in my opinion, that is all that you should be concerned with. So now I turn to you guys. What kind of advice would you give OP, or what would you do if you were in her situation? Let me know in the comment section, and in the meantime, let's continue with the community comments to check out their advice. Melin007 says, why in the world should your mother decide your wedding? She had her wedding, it's your turn. She sounds like she wants to play happy family and show off to her family. If you give in now, where will it end? Will she be deciding what you name your baby next? You have nothing to feel guilty about. Plenty of people have small weddings. It is the decision of you and your fiance on when, where, and how you get married. Your mother is a selfish person and should be ashamed of herself. Ms. Ladyvet says, it's not your mom's wedding. You are in no way being selfish by wanting your wedding to be small. It's her choice to not attend just so she can be petty and punish you for not bending to her will. You don't need that kind of toxicity and stress on your big day anyways. You deserve happiness. Congratulations, and I hope you have a fantastic wedding. Oopsman says, no, she's being manipulative and just using what she can to threaten you. I have a my way or else toxic family member, and I have to say, having them shut out of the process and not able to stir up trouble made it so much more peaceful and fun. Do what works for you. I would call her out and say something like, "I'm sorry you're feeling so upset, I won't do things the way you want. Let me know if you feel better." If people behave like children, they should be treated like one. It will grind her gears that you've happily made up your mind and will be unaffected by her threats. Well, the community is definitely behind OP not giving a crap about what her mother wants and throwing the party that she wants. And I absolutely agree. Again, OP, it is your wedding, not your mom's. If she doesn't want to go, yeah, maybe it'll be sad for you, but do you really want that kind of toxicity on your wedding day? Hopefully she'll come around and stop giving you grief. But from what you've told us about your relationship, I think there's a fat chance of that. Anyways, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Today I F'd Up, and it's from user Mewtwo Thanks. Today I F'd up by not opening a gift for 5 years. 5 years ago, I was gifted a poster of my classic cinema idol, Audrey Hepburn. It was in a gift exchange among one of my gaming groups with a guy I'd been exchanging winky faces with, and I was very, very excited to get. When it came in the mail, my mom recommended framing it, and I absolutely did not want to ruin it. So I decided I wasn't going to open it until I had a frame for it. Well, my life was pretty unstable for a while after that due to school and work. I moved over 15 times in the past 5 years, and every time I moved, I carted this poster canister around with me, intending to get a frame for it, but never actually making the leap. Recently, I've settled down enough that I decided to finally frame it and hang it in my office. Today, I wanted to open it to double check the size so I could get a properly sized frame. Now, I am damn excited because it's been 5 years and I have been anticipating opening it this whole time. I remove the plastic cap and tip the canister. Nothing happens. I glance in it and don't see anything. I assume it must be a smaller poster than I expected, so I pop off the plastic cap on the other end. Still, nada. Get a spot with better lighting, the canister is freaking empty. 5 years and 15 moves carting this empty poster canister around as one of my most prized possessions. If I had just opened it when I received it, I could have resolved the issue and actually gotten my poster, but I don't think Amazon will take claims of purchases from 5 years ago. Unfortunately, I lost touch with the dude, so I am unable to share this story with him, but hopefully you all take this as a lesson. Open your gifts when you receive them. My mom, who has been hounding me to frame the poster for years, was amused by the news and took the opportunity to roast me. Remember my poster of Audrey Hepburn that's been waiting in the canister for us to get a frame for it? Yep. Well, I wanted to get a frame for it, so I opened it up to measure the poster size. Mom, it's effing empty. There's no poster in it. It's been empty this whole damn time. Seriously? You never took it out to look at it? Could it be in your room somewhere? I never took it out because I didn't want to ruin it. Who did you get that from? Some guy who liked me, LMAO. Lol, well, maybe he only liked you a little. I gave the empty canister as a sacrifice to my dog. Here, he is actually appreciating his gift in a timely manner. Well, OP, thanks for sharing your story. Lesson learned. Always open your gifts when you receive them. Man, imagine carrying that thing around for 5 years, or maybe even telling people that you got this awesome poster from somebody at some point in your life and it was empty. As a side note, I did enjoy your mom's sense of humor. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I certainly did reading them to you. So if you did, then go ahead and give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and become a member of our Discord community that just keeps growing and it is fantastic. And like I said in the beginning of the video, all of the relevant links are in the video description below, so be sure to check them out. And finally, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys enjoy this content, so thank you once again. And having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.